After 13 years in Milwaukee, Giannis Antetokounmpo finally reached the end of the road. This may have been one of the longest trade sagas in NBA history. A trade involving a top 5 caliber superstar ultimately ended with Giannis heading to South Beach. Both sides did right by one another. There was no public breakup, no ugly war of words. They preserved a measure of dignity on the way out. For Giannis, he had already completed 13 years of building something in Milwaukee. On draft night in 2013, the skinny 19-year-old kid from Greece was selected by the small market Bucks with the number 15 pick in the first round. At the time, nobody could have imagined that this young man, who could barely speak English and had once sold goods on the streets of Athens to survive, would one day grow into a true NBA superstar. In his rookie season, Giannis averaged about 7 points per game. There was no spotlight chasing him, no superstar teammates carrying him. In all of Milwaukee, only the Bucks organization was willing to slow down, stay patient, and wait for him to grow. He kept adding weight, he sharpened his ball handling, he extended his range, he built his game on defense, and step by step, he completed his transformation. In just a few years, he went from most improved player to regular season MVP. He even won Defensive Player of the Year. That made him the third player in NBA history, after Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon, to win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. During those years, Giannis almost single-handedly dragged the long-suffering Bucks into the top tier of the Eastern Conference. After 8 full years of development, 2021 became the peak season of Giannis' Bucks career. When few people believed in them, Giannis delivered a legendary performance and helped Milwaukee lift the championship trophy again after 50 years. After winning the title, he cried as he spoke to Bucks fans. He said Milwaukee chose him when he was at the most uncertain point of his life, and he had decided to use his life to repay this cold, snowy small market city. But nobody expected that the years after the peak would slowly test the promise he once made. In the seasons after the championship, the Bucks kept reshuffling the roster. They brought in Dame to form a superstar duo, but they still could not break through the East. Year after year of playoff disappointment left Giannis physically and mentally exhausted. He wanted to lead the Bucks back to the NBA Finals again, but the Bucks front office had already begun preparing for a rebuild. Once contract extension talks reached a stalemate, Giannis understood something clearly. If he stayed in Milwaukee, he was unlikely to lift another championship trophy there. The Bucks were boxed in two. The franchise wanted to build another championship roster around Giannis, but star players were not lining up to join a small market team like Milwaukee, so a trade became the final option for both sides. Once Giannis listed the Heat as his preferred destination, the Bucks front office reached out to Pat Riley. Milwaukee's asking price was clear: young players and a massive haul of future draft capital. After months of negotiations, Riley finally made an offer that satisfied the Bucks front office. Although Miami gave up Harrow and a huge package of future picks, one thing has to be admitted: Bam Adebayo and Giannis together give the Heat a very real chance to chase a championship. Spoelstra is excellent at managing superstar talent. The offensive and defensive systems he has built have helped Miami reach the NBA Finals multiple times. From a basketball fit standpoint, Giannis and the Heat are an extremely natural fit. That is the main reason Riley was willing to put so many assets on the table and take this massive swing. From the streets of Athens to leading a team to the NBA championship, Milwaukee witnessed Giannis' transformation over 13 years. From a kid from Greece with almost nothing into a basketball legend, that city carried all of his tears and all of his glory. Emotionally, Giannis probably did not want to leave Milwaukee, but for another championship, and to avoid wasting the prime years of his career, he still made the decision to go to Miami. That kid who climbed up from the bottom step by step first appeared on the NBA radar. He became stronger. He became an all-star, an all-NBA player, a two-time MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year, and he led his team to a long-awaited championship. Even later, an NBA Cup. You can say he is the greatest player in Bucks history. Before Wemby arrived in the NBA, he was the most physically overwhelming player in basketball. But after that championship, even though his regular season production remained elite every year, the playoffs kept telling a different story. The Celtics ended their title defense. Jimmy Butler hit them with a historic 8-seed upset. Then Damian Lillard went down. Chris Middleton was traded. Injuries became the main theme. A top-tier player approaching 32 now has to fight for his place again in a league landscape that keeps changing. It is not that he is afraid to lose. He has already won everything. Maybe he is only afraid that, late in his career, he will fade quietly. That young man who once said, "My jersey will hang in the rafters in Milwaukee." Now, after 13 seasons, he is leaving for the next chapter. Fortunately, he accomplished everything. Time always pushes people forward. Some people keep walking down the same road. Some people reach a fork and choose a different path. There is no right or wrong road. We all have the right to decide our own lives. So can Giannis follow LeBron's Miami blueprint and help the Heat win another championship? Let's wait and see.